So I've created a three-dimensional north arrow, which is shown on the screen. If we go to the plan view of it, you'll see it's nothing more than a circle, an extruded circle. As a Revit family, just a generic family, north arrow. And if I click into this, you'll notice it's a really large arrow, though. It's 2 foot in diameter, so it's 4 foot in diameter. And I made a void space on the inside. And so that just subtracts everything away from it, and it's just a relatively clean looking north arrow. So you're welcome to create something like this or something original. So let's load this back into the project, and we'll go to the site view, and I'll go ahead and place that north arrow. I think it's set up here, and let's just take a look at it. Actually, this is actually really small. And that's good, because what I'll do is I'll go back and modify that right away. So let's go back to our 3D view. Our north arrow is not showing up. So let's go to our reference document again. And I'll go into this and edit it. And we'll change this to, let's say 15 feet. Well, not 15. Let's go, that's a little outrageous. Let's go to 8 feet. So it'll be a 16 foot in diameter circle. And I don't believe the void space will allow us to resize by scaling. So what I'll do is I'll just pull these elements, or I'll try to anyway. I'll just try to pull these out and just reshape this. Picky little place the dimension decided to be. Once we get a picky dimension, let's try this side for a minute. And let me zoom in here and see if I can grab this one. Oops. Yeah, I'm just doing this by eye, as you can see. I'll pull these a little bit wider. And let's load that in the project and overwrite the existing one. And go to our 3D view. And now we have a little more sizable north arrow. And I'm not really, one of the things we're rendering this is not in the best mode yet. So let's just actually start to work on our rendering a little bit. I'm going to turn show edges off, smooth the edges, make sure we have some shadow in here, and apply that, kind of just to tone the whole site down. And we're not getting a nice shadow underneath the north arrow that I was hoping for. So what I'll do is I'm just going to raise this up a little bit. So I'll go to -2 feet. We're not casting a shadow there, and it has to do with lighting. So we'll come back to that. I could also just change the materials of this. So let's see if we can make this a black. I don't see anything labeled like that, so I'm just going to create a new material. Call it black. And pull that way down and load it in and see if that helps us out a little bit. Okay, so now we have a north arrow. I've moved the windrows over to this side and kind of toned it down a little bit. And we're getting close to being able to think about putting pavers in that, or excuse me, plantings. So I want to just finish up a few more things. I don't like the way this isn't touching the building. That's because I pulled it out to the eave. So let's go ahead and straighten that out real quick. Sneak this off the wireframe. Oops. Well, I'm still missing. Go figure that. That's actually probably because it's digging in a little bit. Well, that's actually a subregion. It shouldn't be digging in under the surface. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead. You can actually, well, don't leave me. Let me just finish this because we'll pick up another part of the project here. We're going to make the road coming in. Let's pull that in. I'm going to just go way in here till I'm in the wall area. Lines cannot intersect each other. Oh, so what's happened is we've gotten a little bit distorted here. There we go. Okay, let's see if we straighten that up now. All right, there we go with that. And now we need a paved road coming into the site. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll go back to the site and we'll quickly make a road. We'll go to massing and site and make a subregion. We really want it to track with the grade. And we'll pull this out. And I'm thinking something about like that. This really doesn't need to be that wide. 16 feet would probably be a good, and I'll pull this way off. All right, and we don't want that to be mulch, we want it to be pavers. And we have this idea of this surface. I'm going to just shrink this down just so it's not so obviously. Let's go to 2 foot. Probably be a happy balance. So now it's digging down a little bit over there and it's up a little bit there. And I really don't want us in this project to get too much into doing with landscape. We could also, if your project, you could also change this over, because it's such a small change in grade, you could change this over to a subregion instead of making it the parking lot like that. Now let's put a car in the parking lot. That'll give a sense of scale. So I don't think I have one in this drawing. So I'm going to go and insert, load a family. Actually, while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and grab our trees, our deciduous trees, and load those in. It's already in. And I'm going to, that was deciduous, and I'm going to grab our conifers, and I'm going to grab our shrubs. I probably should have multiple selected those. And then we're going to go out to where we can entourage, I believe it is, we can find a vehicle. We can find the famous yellow Volkswagen and import that in. And I'm going to go ahead and place that. And we're going to make a little bit of, I wonder if we can change the color of this car. It would be so nice if we could. I don't think I had it selected. I got the car. Let's see if we can change its color. Okay, it doesn't look like we can, so we'll leave it at that. Let's just get it in the right orientation if it was parked in a spot. And this kind of gives us a scale of really how big the parking lot is and everything. So let's go up here, and I'll just rotate the car around. We just want it in the view so people get an idea of the relationship of all of the elements that are in here. And we can actually now start to think about, I'll generate another view here. Let's see what this 3D view, is actually catching the car in here, so that's probably fine. I'm going to bring this back up. We're going to have an annoying edge there. So I'm going to take this to negative 1'6", I think it is. All right, and let's put a name on the building. So let's go to I don't know where it is. Model text under architecture. Actually, what we should do is, before we do that, is let's select the building plane that we want to put it on. So I want to put it right on the front of the building here. Let me make sure I did that right. Set, pick a plane, and there we go. And it will do model text, green. I'm going to call it Green Park. Visitor Center. All right. And it looks huge. So let's go ahead and select it and edit it down a little bit. Let's duplicate it. And we'll make it, I don't know, maybe 14-inch. And we'll change this to 14 inches, and we'll see if that takes it down as much as we want. That looks pretty good. And I'll pull that down because it's going to be, otherwise it's going to be lost in the trees that we're going to end up putting on the site. Okay, so now one of the biggest parts of our project are getting things to read properly. We don't have a background yet. We haven't set up our renderings. We'll pick up that in the next clip. I also have the tilted panels in, and I think I want the flat ones. Hopefully that's the flat ones. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Yep, now we have flat panels up there. Okay, so next we'll look at placing some vegetation around the site and grabbing some views and maybe setting a background.